Hello. Alright, so this is going to be a quick unedited guide on zoning for Jacko. It's just some basics, just some more of a showcase, I guess, say, a than a guide. Alright, so first off, as key after you put out your minion. This beats low profile moves. 5 chain your minion beats low profile, and 5H. Those can stop enemies from doing Stroke the Big Tree, Elk Hunt. I wouldn't bank on Stun Dipper because it's a 5-frame startup, but low profile moves can get stuck with that if you think your opponent's going to go for that. Secondly, 2H just beats air dash height. 6 heavy also beats air dash height. You should cancel 6 heavy on the first hit into another minion, since it covers the height that you would have done 6H anyway, unless you're like sure you're gonna hit your opponent with it. But you know, it's situational stuff. And 2S will cover full screen and go directly above you. Danger. The more important thing about 2S to note that a lot of newer players don't know is you can drop the minion with 5 dust and then hit 2S to hit the minion all the time. So when you pull your minion out, you don't have to pull it out, run up 2S. You can pull it out, drop it 2S, and it'll work as well. It always goes to the edge of the screen too, so if you're in the corner, it's going to hit in the corner. So feel free to use that for Oki setups if you got them. Obviously, this is really good. 236K is really good for anti-zoning. Really fast, it's hard to react to. You can pull a minion out when you pick it if you don't want to clap. Even if you do want to, you can still pull out a minion and clap, but it'll obviously take you 2 bars. I suggest almost always pulling a minion out after you kick. Same thing for in the air. If you kick minion in the air, which I suck at doing sometimes, surprisingly, if they are full screen and have to block it, or if they have to 6P it, I suggest you pull out another minion because, well, these little guys are monster space control. Anyway, onto the air ones. I'll talk about some of the more advanced tech in a minute. JD is to drop your minion. If you jump into JD on the way up, minion will be beneath you. If you press JD on the higher part of your jump, the minion will be above you. You cannot do jump S if you drop the minion too late. You have to do it on the way up, as the minion will be too high for you to hit. However, you can still do JH and JK. The distance for JK is roughly half screen, the distance for JH is roughly full screen. The distance for JP is the same as the distance for JK. And as a little small extra note, you can air dash if your JD hits the minion. Danger. For those who might need to do that to get out of danger. Because man, do I fuck up. It has to be forward air dash. Back air dash, right? Oh wait, no, you can do back air dash. No. Something I never try to do. But anyway, you can air dash. I believe you can also... Yes, you can also get your double jump after JD. You can get your double jump off of any button off the minion. Hitting a minion counts as a hit. That includes, like, if you did this and they involved your minion, you could go for Elysian Driver. Rainbow Bar. Okay, yeah. So, we got our jumps down. You know how to toss your minion in the air. Some slightly more advanced stuff. 2P is how you pick up minions. However, if your minion is too far away, you cannot pick the minion up, but you will cancel the animation. So what you can do is 2P after some hits in order to allow yourself to go for the pickup animation without picking it up. Particularly, like the most common one that people go for is 5 heavy. You can get only the first hit of 5 heavy, and then you'll be safe. because you went for minion pickup, so you recovered a lot faster. It also saves you gauge. That way you don't have to do like clap in order to save yourself. This also works off of 236K as well. You can 236K in the TP, and you will attempt to pick up the minion, which will fail, which will make you recover much faster than you would have if you let the entire animation recover or go through. What else is there for zoning? Well, obviously JD is super good. I should probably mention you should never use JD on Nagoriyuki, Happy Chaos, Axel. I'm pretty sure there's a few more in there. I believe Millie and Chip as well, in my experience. JD is something that you would use extremely rarely versus them. They are just simply so fast. It is nearly impossible for them to get hit by it unless they actively run into it. So like, you know, pick your targets. Sometimes you can use it against Millie and Chip, sometimes you can't. Be careful about using this against Testament, because H Grave Reaper, when it clashes with projectiles, the succubus immediately appears at the location that it would have been at max range. So if you JD a H Grave Reaper, and they know it's going to clash, they will teleport and grab you. And I've had that happen to me so many times. So be a little bit careful of that. You're probably not going to run into as many crazy Testaments who are doing that, but, you know, I just want you to be aware. Another thing of note for zoning with minions is that 236H does not stop momentum. So, if you have self-destruct setups, which I don't because I never lab them, you can kick them into activate self-destruct. For some matchups, I think this is really good because, well, for some players, I think it's really good because they tend to be very conservative in how they swing, and they want to attack any minions that they see are ready to self-destruct. So you can use a bar and self-destruct in order to get them to swing so that you can whiff punish them for swinging at your minion. Or you can pull out another minion and kick them at them. While your minion is in self-destruct mode, your meter does not go up for your minion gauge, however. You should be very careful of that, because this is the only way you can do it. So if you try to self-destruct outside of your H install, you're gonna have problems with your meter at least. So a little bit of footnotes, just so that you guys know. There are very easy OP setups with minions as well. It's not just 100% zoning, so that is 100% meaty. They cannot do anything about that. You can even cross them up by doing it earlier. As you could see, it was the startup frames of his grab, and he got hit. When you get the timing down yourself, because sometimes I mess the timing up, you can air dash over your opponent and they can't even DP you. That includes Leo too. You will be able to make it to the other side and block, and Leo will not be able to DP you in time. Well, that also includes Sen. Trust me, I know all about getting DP by Sen. I fight a lot of them. But it's very important to note, or to know how to minion zone, because you are not going to want to spend a lot of your time zoning with Jacko. Another note to drop on you, just a little small one. When you drop your minion, they touch the ground. This is one of the few times where you can 2K your minion. If you feel, how do I put it? If you feel like your opponent always goes for like ultra low profile, this isn't a bad choice. But I warn you, like, I think it's a lot better to go for like the 5H, or the 5K, my bad. The 5K, 5H is really good. I personally go for 5H because you could do that. And if they get hit, then I get to go for 2 dust. If they don't get hit, I just will not react to the scenario. I'll just back off. Anything else? I don't know if there's anything else that we're talking about in terms of... Oh, wait, yeah, there's one more. There's one more thing, too, that I can think of. This is anti-projectile. So is this. Throwing the minion and kicking the minion will negate projectiles. Very important to know when you're fighting against like Testament, especially because Testament is a big offender of this. And in some cases, when you're fighting against these guys. I think that's pretty much everything I could really think of in terms of like small-time minion tech. But hey, you know, feel free to experiment. You will find all types of tech and such that you can do with bouncing the minions around. They also hit each other, if you didn't know, which causes them to go in really strange arcs. It's worth giving it a shot. You know, hit the lab up. Or sometimes just do stuff on the spot. You'll get lucky. Alright, take care. Bye bye, have fun.